Breaking 1 minute in the 100 breaststroke comes down to three things: technique, strategy, and training. So what I want to do in this video is break down all three of those. Then we're going to look at my own 100 breaststroke, do an analysis where I broke a minute. Over the last 10 years, I've broken a minute several times. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you one of my secret weapons, workout style, and strategy, so you can learn from that and apply it to your own swimming. Now, the most important thing, I believe, is timing. Pull, kick, glide. You have to be able to repeat that in your head. Here's a video of me swimming the breaststroke. We're going to talk about the pull out, all the different mechanics that go into it. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of analysis here on my own stroke. You see the pull out underwater. And when I pop up, it's pull, kick, glide. This is really one of the most fundamental things in streamline in swimming, and that is streamline. If you notice, every stroke starts and stops with streamline. Now, as you can see here, I could probably stretch out my streamline a little bit more. And when we break down the strategy of the 100 breaststroke, you can really apply that to literally any 100, but especially in breaststroke. On the technique, for example, if you're not hitting that streamline, it's not going to work. So you want to hit streamline because water is 800 times more dense than air. So it is critical that you hit the streamline, and you should be able to count in your head: pull, kick, glide, streamline. The pull and the breath happen at the same time. So I really like this shot right here in slow motion. Let's go ahead and watch that again. See the hands pull? Your pinkies are driving, and you stop the pull right at your nose. So if you're wondering how far to pull your hands back, that's how we break down the pull. So if you want to go fast in breaststroke, regardless of your speed, you've got to get the mechanics. This is me swimming breaststroke at full speed, or close to about a minute pace or better in meters. It's a full burst right here. And if you notice, we're hitting streamline on every single stroke. This is the body line. We're pointing the fingertips in the direction that we want to go. My eyes are relatively pointing down. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way of the shot. If you notice where my butt is relative to the surface level of the water, right, the distance here is very small. This is very small. If you look at a slower swimmer who's moving at maybe 2 minutes per 100, their body line is going to be like way down here. And actually, that's too straight. Most likely, the body line is going to look like that. And we're going to create a lot more drag, and that's going to slow you down. So it's really important. If you take anything away from this video, it's how important it is to nail the timing. Pull, kick, glide. You should have this nailed down. Pull, kick, glide. Fast hands, driving the streamline. Let's watch it one more time. I mentioned the pullouts are important. Boom, there's a pullout, streamline. You want to be narrow. It's streamline off the wall. You hold it. You get one dolphin kick, arm pull down, and then you kick back up. We're going to go ahead and actually watch this again. Then I'll start talking about the strategy, because I think I beat it with a dead horse. Pull, kick, glide. That is the timing, and that's why it's so important. Let's go ahead and skip back a little bit. Then we'll talk about strategy. Watch the pull out. Then we'll talk about strategy. Now, when you start out a race, it's all about easy speed. The first 25 yards or meters, whether you swim in long course or yards, you can't force it. You can't pick up the tempo and slip. That's what it's called when you're not catching the water. You're slipping. If you watch me right here at this casual speed, I look very controlled. There's no slippage, maximum distance per stroke. If you're swimming long course, it's even more important to have this distance per stroke, because if you start to spin your wheels and you overswim that first little bit, you're just going to be toast and you're going to fall apart. So when it comes to strategy, the first 25 yards, 25 meters, you're just setting up the stroke. You should be swimming with power. You should be swimming with intensity and maximizing your distance per stroke. You should know how many strokes you take on the first 25 yards or 25 meters. Whether you do it from a push or a dive, you should know how many strokes that you take. And you know what? Pull-out consistency is so important, and you feel like your lungs are going to burn, especially at the 200 breaststroke. It's so important that you have the breath control and the lung capacity, and that's why the pullout is so important to elite level swimming. Now, one of the tools that I've been using to expand my lung capacity is the AeroFit breathing trainer, and they're so kind to sponsor this video and a number of videos here on the channel, so we really appreciate that. And the way it works is these exercises will strengthen your diaphragm and the muscles between your ribs so you can inhale more air with every breath. And that's why AeroFit is the official breathing trainer and partner for My Swim Pro. You start with a 3-step test to get a baseline, and then the app will set you up with a personalized training program. Then the workouts will take less than 10 minutes to complete each day. and you'll just follow the app and it'll coach you right through it. Just like the MySwimPro app, this app will take care of you. So if you're ready to take it to the next level, check out the code in the description, 15% off your AeroFit order. Now let's go ahead and watch my race from Nationals. As you can see, I'm right there in the middle of the pool. I'll outline myself. I'm in the blue cap. I do win my heat, spoiler alert, but it's just saying that it makes it easier to see where I am. So we got a full heat. This is Irvine, California, 100 breaststroke. Did this earlier in the year. I'm wearing a blue cap. I'm not in the lead right there. I'm about second. So the guy in the white cap, I'm right there. The guy in the white cap is ahead of me. Now let's talk about splitting and pacing. We're going to watch this race twice. The first one, just kind of an overall vibe, just see how I'm swimming the race. I'm right there in the blue cap. And I was out, I believe, in a 27.83. You can see me right there. I'm in second position, really working the pullouts. And now I start to make, it looks like I'm making my move, but really I'm just going the same speed. The guy in the lane next to me is getting tired. And so I think we're about even here at the wall. He may have had me just by a little bit, and then I pass him on the final 25. My second 50 was a 31.35. I was out in a 27.83, and there it is into the finish. We're both hurting, but it was a pretty good swim overall. Now let's go ahead and watch this again. I'm going to talk about the strategy as I'm executing. There's the AeroFit promo. Go check them out. Now let's go ahead and talk about the pacing. The first 25, remember what I said. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I actually only took, I won't tell you how many strokes I took. Count how many strokes I take. I'm in that blue cap. I'm right here in the middle of the pool. Keep an eye on me. Count the strokes. I'll count them what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I only took 5 strokes on the first 25. Almost everyone in the heat took 6 or 7 strokes. What that means is I can probably be a little bit more aggressive, but that's why I passed the guy in the lane next to me on the final 25. He fell apart a little bit more than me. I was able to be consistent. On the second 25, I took 7 strokes, and then we held pretty consistent. So you start to pick up the tempo on that second 25. You're going a little bit stronger, but you want to be consistent. So I took the same number of strokes here, there in the wall, and I took another 7 strokes. Now, in terms of pacing, if you're trying to get under a minute, you need to be at 43 seconds at the 75 mark. Whether it's a 100-yard or a 100-meter breaststroke, you have to be at 43 because the last 25 is going to be slower than that. So here I took 8 strokes on the finish, and that's how we got the final result. My time was a 59.18, just sneaking under the minute. I believe when I went my best time, or I went a 58 about 5 years ago, and I was out a little bit faster, but I came back slower, and I was 58.8. The first time I went 58 was way back in 2011, so I've been able to go under a minute for over 10 years, and I really credit stroke technique, but also timing, because if you don't have the right timing and the power per stroke, it's not going to work. So when it comes to strategy, we're building that first part. You're trying to maintain distance per stroke, and you only pick up tempo a little bit at the end. If you pick up too much, that means you're just dying, and that's not what we want. So it's really important when you're swimming the 100 breaststroke or even the 200 breaststroke, you're able to train in a way to set yourself up for speed, right? So we talked a lot about strategy. Now I want to talk about training, because this is where the rubber hits the road, or the fin hits the pool, right? Your feet, when you dive in, this is where it counts. So let's talk about how we can train, and really it comes down to quality over quantity. This is the next heat. We don't want to watch these guys. Oh, there we go. Here I am swimming. So it's all about quality over quantity. And the reason it's so important in breaststroke and butterfly is because unlike freestyle and backstroke, which are short axis or long axis strokes, breast and fly are short axis. What this means is your body's going to ride lower in the water. Let's go ahead and just watch this scene, right? You can see me, even though I have a high body position, look at how low my body is in the water, right? The water line is right there. So because of this, even if you're a strong swimmer, you want to only train at a higher rate of speed. It's not really like only race pace training, but you should have a lot of speed and intensity built into your training program, right? Another thing is stroke count and timing. I've already mentioned it before a ton of times, but you want to make sure you are paying attention to how many strokes you take. You should know it and you should be consistent with it. So one of my secret weapons to swimming a sub-minute 100 breaststroke, or just being really efficient with my breaststroke, is this workout that I wrote right here. I will do some version of this workout multiple times leading up in my taper and even during the season, and it really fine-tunes my stroke. And if you're faster than me, great, this workout still applies. If you're slower than me, great, this workout still applies. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through it. We start out with a basic warm-up. It's just a little bit of freestyle. We do 4 50s kick, and on these 50s kick, they are descend. I really like to descend everything. So here we are, we're descending, 4 50s kick. Then I go 4 25s drill, where I like to go either 3 kick, 1 pull, or 2 kick, 1 pull, and I might do a progression between them. Now let's go ahead and look at the main set. This is where it gets juicy here on the main set. Now, if you notice, it's basically a bunch of 50s, and then 100 easy, and then a bunch of 50s, and repeat. And if you notice in the notes, we're actually getting faster on the way down. So let me just go ahead and keep the video rolling for you guys. We start with 6 50s freestyle on the minute. Now, the interval is important. You might need to make this slower if you're not moving as fast as me. But you go 6 50s, and we're looking at 100 pace plus 3. Then we go 100 easy. Then we go 4 50s, 100 pace plus 2 with more rest. Then we go 100 easy. Then we go the next round of 50s, and now we're at 100 pace plus 1. If you notice, we're getting faster. We're adding the rest. And then we work our way to just 1 max effort 50. We're not trying to spin our wheels. This is like the second 50 of our 100. So if your goal is to break a minute, that second 50 from a push, you need to be able to go 31 seconds or faster. Because if you don't go 31 seconds, well, then you're not going to be able to break a minute, right? Unless you're going out in like 27, then you come back 32. 27 plus 32 gets you a 59. If you're a high level swimmer, like one of the best in the world, you're going to go out in 23 seconds, come back in 26 seconds. That'll put you at 49 or 50. Now, that's a lot faster than I am, and if you're watching this video, shout out to you. But when it comes to training, you really need to be able to train your tempo and control your stroke rate as you get faster, and you give yourself more rest with less distance. Now, the final part, and this maybe is the secret weapon, I've worked on this a lot. If you look at the cool down, we're going to do 825s, what I call countdown. And when you do this, what you're doing is you're counting your strokes. I have my stroke count written right there. And what I'm doing is I'm starting with only 5 strokes on the first 25. Then I go 4 strokes. Then I go 3, then 2, then 1. And then I build my way back up. And if you notice, because we're only doing 8, you can do 10 of these. I'm going to finish at 4 strokes, and you feel super long, and your timing is on point. Pull, kick, glide. If you like this workout, you're going to love everything in the MySwimPro app. And make sure you check out this video over here where I talk about the difference between swimming a 1-minute breaststroke pace and a 2-minute. See if you can notice the difference there. I'll see you over there, and happy swimming, guys.